Hi, second graders. Today we're going to be learning to count by ones and by tens. So our learning target today says we are learning to use place value to count by ones and by tens. We're going to start counting by ones first. So I have written the number 396 on my page. If I were to draw out that number using a place value picture, I know that this number has 3 hundreds, so I'm going to draw 300 boxes. Now I also know that there are 9 tens in 396, which means I need 9 10 sticks. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. And I also know that I have 6 ones, so I'm going to draw out 6 circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I am going to be counting by ones. So right now in my picture, I have the number 396. So what happens if I count by ones? Well, I'm at 396 right now. If I add one more, I'm going to be at 397. When I add another, I'll be at 398. Another one, 399. And finally, 400. So now that I've gotten to my next 100 number, I can put a big box around all of this so that I know that I have 100, 200, 300, and 400. Now, if I wanted to keep counting, I would start by drawing some more ones. So I could say 401, 402, 403, 404, 405, and I could keep going as long as I wanted to. Next, I'm going to be counting by tens. I've written the number 460 at the top of my page. Now, I know that when I add 10 to that number, the digit in the tens place is going to be the one to change. Right now, I have 460, and I want to add 10 more. So my ones house is going to stay the same. My tens house is going to change. 6 tens, one more, well, 6 plus 1 makes 7. So now I would have 7 tens, and my hundreds would stay the same. So 460 plus 10 gives me 470. Let's look at 470 drawn out as a place value picture. I know I have 4 hundreds, so I'm going to draw 400 boxes. I know I have 7 10 sticks, so I will draw 7 10 sticks. And I do not have any ones, so I'm not going to draw any circles. So I know that this picture has a value of 470. What happens if I add another 10 stick? If I add 10 more to 470, my 7 tens changed into 8 tens. So that means I have 480. Now what happens if I get a 9th 10 stick and I have 9 tens? Well then, instead of 480, I need to have 490. Now what happens if I add one more and I have 10 sticks? I know I can make 10 sticks into a what? A new 100. So 490 plus 10 more gives me 500. Now, we don't always have to draw place value pictures to count by tens, so I'm going to show you a little trick that we can use to finish the rest of this pattern. So I see that I am starting with the number 640. There is a 4 in my tens place. Now that 4 represents 40. When I add 10 more, that 4 changes to what number? A 5. So when I'm adding 10 to a number, the digit in my tens place will go up by 1. Any other digits will stay the same. So I went from 640, added 110 to get 650. Now if I add 110, well, let's think. The 600s is going to be the same, but what's going to happen to the 5 in the tens place? It's going to go up 1 more because we are adding 110. So we're going to get 660. Now, if I'm going to add 10 more, my 600 stays the same, but my 6 tens is going to go up to 7 tens. So I have 670. If I keep going, I'll get 680, 690. Now what happens when I add 10 to 690? I know that 9 plus 1 is 10. So if I had 9 10 sticks or 9 tens in this number and I'm adding 10 more, that means I'm going to go up to the next 100. So now I'm on to 700. When I add 10 more, I'll get 710. Next is 720. And finally, 730. So remember, when we add 10, we need to look at the digit in our tens place. And if we're adding 110, then that digit in our tens place gets 1 bigger. We go from a 4 in the tens place to a 5, a 6, then a 7, an 8, then a 9, a 0 for our new 100, and then we start over at 1, 2, 3, and so on. Now remember, if you are feeling stuck counting just in your head, it is okay to use that place value drawing or use an equation that is stacked vertically. So I have a horizontal equation over here and I wrote 50 plus 10. Now if I wasn't sure what to do, I could draw out my place value picture. I could draw 50, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, and then I could draw 10 more. Now I know that 50 plus another 10 stick, if I count those up, that would give me 60. Now, of course, you can also use the vertical equation that I wrote over here on the other side of the screen, and we can solve 50 plus 10 by doing a vertical equation. I'm going to split apart my ones house and my tens house. When I add 0 plus 0, well, I know that that is going to stay 0. When I add 5 tens plus 1 more 10, I know that that's going to give me 6 tens. So now your job is to go on to your homework page and your remembering page and practice counting by tens and by ones.